Go. Hi, on this episode of Book Talk, we'll be discussing Gary Paulson's Hatchet. Due to the weather and causing technical difficulties, we're shooting this episode again. This time, however, we will be discussing it with Jack Harkness, and I'm here on special notice. So Jack, who's the main characters in these books?
Well, there's only one, and his name's Brian Robeson, and he's 13 years old.
Huh. And where exactly is he? What's the setting of this?
He's in the wilderness of northern Canada, and it's present time.
And how does he end up in Canada? Does he live there already, or does he just walk there one day, or how does he get there?
Well, his parents split up, and his father's really good with mechanics, and so he decided to try to make something that would be easier to help collect oil. So he naturally wants his son to help him. So his mom's bring him up there, and she gives him a hatchet, hence the name Hatchet. And he takes off in a bush plane, and he's heading there, and the pilot and him both notice this weird smell in the cockpit, and it turns out that the pilot actually had a heart attack, and the boy had to crash land the plane in northern Canada.
So he doesn't live in Canada.
Right.
Well, where is he from?
New York.
And what's the climax of the story, in your opinion?
In my opinion, it would be more of when he finally finds, there's a tornado which flips the plane over. And so he remembered that there was a survival kit in the plane. So he grabbed his hatchet and cut into it. And he grabbed the survival kit and was able to, and there was a transmitter in there, a rifle, a fishing pole, and other ways for him to survive.
So he was stuck out in the wilderness for a long time.
Right.
And how long was that?
54 days.
Almost 2 months. Wow.
Yeah.
If he was out there for that long, he must have had some physical changes. Like, what happened to him?
He lost 17% of his body weight.
So he was really thin when he found him. And what did he have to eat while he was there?
Well, he first initially ate these things which he called gut cherries.
They make those in the U.S.?
No.
Well, what are gut cherries?
They were some kind of cherry, and he called them gut cherries because when he ate them, he'd puke. But it was a way to get something in, at least to his system. And he'd also eat panfish, sunfish, yellow perch, and snapping turtle eggs. And he also ate what he called fool birds, but they were actually baby grouse.
Oh, and how did he get all that food? Did he just eat dead fish he found on the shore, or how did he get to it?
Well, he was, he made a spear out of a willow tree, and when he'd set it upside, when fish came, he'd stab it.
Oh.
And then with the fool birds, he made like a bow, and then he'd cook them he'd use his hatchet and cut a piece of stone which would get sparks, and then he could start the fire.
Huh. When he was out in the wilderness, was he ever into trouble? Did he have any predators ever, or anyone coming after him?
A moose actually charged him and broke his ribs.
Wow. Did they heal by the time he was rescued, or?
No. When they actually did rescue him, his ribs were...
He was thin and broken.
Yeah.
Well, this sounds like a great book. Would you recommend it to anyone?
Yes, most definitely.
And why is that?
Well, I definitely recommend it to people who like reading stuff about survival, because, he's out in the middle of nowhere just surviving off land. And it's just a really good book to read.
So definitely something for the adventurous type.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Jack. This
Yep.
has been a great time on Book Talk.
Yep.
And that's a wrap, folks.